Now, on an entirely different matter, yesterday the Senate passed broad bipartisan legislation to maintain our nation's waterways and drinking water systems. Now we're turning back to the personnel business and confirming more of the President's qualified nominees to important executive branch positions. We voted yesterday to advance the nomination of Jeffrey Clark to serve as Assistant Attorney General for the Environment and Natural Resources Division. Mr. Clark's qualifications include several years of prior service as Deputy Assistant Attorney General in that same division. He's also built a strong reputation in the private sector as a leading litigator with subject matter expertise in administrative law. Mr. Clark's legal colleagues describe him as one of the most capable lawyers with whom they've ever worked, and no fewer than 7 former Assistant Attorneys General for the Environment and Natural Resources Division tell the Senate that his well-rounded background and prior experience in the division make him an excellent choice for this position. After we confirm Mr. Clark, we'll consider another Assistant Attorney General nominee, Eric Dryban, for the Civil Rights Division. Mr. Dryban is also well prepared to serve. His resume includes several stints of public service, including as General Counsel of the EEOC, in addition to private sector experience. Others have praised his service at the EEOC as, quote, widely respected in the highest rung of the agency's general counsels and a record of superlative performance. Those who've worked with Mr. Dryban emphasized his strong commitment to protecting all American civil rights. In the words of one leader who has known and worked with the nominee for 15 years, his commitment to fairly enforcing the law is without question. Dryban will come James Stewart, the President's choice to serve as Assistant Secretary of Defense for Manpower and Reserve Affairs. Mr. Stewart's experience managing military manpower runs deep through his distinguished career in the U.S. Air Force, from which he retired as a Major General. He's most recently served on the North Carolina Military Affairs Commission and on the Secretary of Defense's Reserve Forces Policy Board. Each of these nominees deserve confirmation, and I would urge our colleagues to approve all of them. It's been more than 9 months since Republicans passed the most sweeping tax reform in a generation. Here are just a few of the economic headlines we've seen since it took effect. Consumer confidence at an 18-year high. Faster year-on-year wage growth than at any point since 2009. The lowest national unemployment since 1969, almost 50 years ago. Behind all these numbers are middle-class families whose lives are changing for the better, and the effects are reaching all kinds of communities, even the places most neglected for nearly a decade by the Obama administration's so-called recovery. After years of investment and job creation being disproportionately concentrated in the biggest metropolitan areas, 2018 has been a different story. So far this year, it's been smaller and rural communities that have led the nation in relative job growth. Out across the heartland, empty storefronts and stagnant local economies are giving way to vibrant transformation and new opportunities. So when we hear that states like Missouri are thriving again, of Republicans' pro-growth, pro-opportunity agenda, it really shouldn't come as a surprise. It shouldn't surprise us that Missouri's statewide unemployment rate has reached its lowest level since 2000, the lowest unemployment in 18 years. And news like this won't surprise anyone who's been listening to the accounts of Missourians. Like Mary Beth Hartman, who runs a small construction company in Springfield, she says the new tax law has given her the flexibility to expand vacations and bonuses for her employees and invest $500,000 in new equipment. Or Brandon Pister, he used his tax reform bonus to help his family cover medical expenses and put money into savings. The junior senator from Missouri can be proud that he voted for the historic policies that help unleash all this good news. It's a shame that his colleague, the senior senator from Missouri, chose to vote in lockstep with Senate Democrats and tried to block tax reform from taking effect. Republicans will keep sharing success stories like these from Missouri and keep helping the American people write more.